I'm a bit of a stubborn anyway, and it's like, right, from this day forth I shall not dabble in the white lady anymore. And that was it, and I've never done it since. And the great thing about getting off drugs is you get rid of all the people who are on drugs, because all the people who are, and the best thing is after about 6 weeks of being off drugs, you still surrounded with the same group of people. And I was out one night and I was just thinking, I don't like you.
I have nothing in common with any of you.
I don't like you. I don't mind you, but your bird's a dick. You're an idiot. You wear eyeliner. That kind of thing. And it was kind of, one by one, it's like, well, you've got to go. She's got to go. You've got to go. You're definitely... What are you still doing it anyway? That kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
And what did that leave you with, man? What did that leave you with?
That left with me and my guitar.
And that's it?
Yeah, and the band. We took a year out after being out, and then we went off to the south of France to make Standing on the Shoulder of Giants. And again, in hindsight, I love all that record. Is all the sentiments are quite dour on all, but I think they're my best lyrics, because I was at kind of a low point. I was coming off drugs, but I was still kind of taking. And it's all about fame and like where did it all go wrong and all that. But there's some of the best words. But I think there's a couple of very uninspired moments on that record. But I like it. And
you still kick off each live show with it.
Well, Go Let It Out. Bushes, Gas Panic's great. There's a few moments on there. But during the making of that record, McGee decides that Creation is going to be no more, and then Bonard and Griggs quit on the same day.
They quit
in the middle of the record.
They quit.
Yeah, they quit. Oh yeah, they weren't sacked. In the middle of the record, so that's your record label with one of your best mates, McGee, saying we're out of here. So you're like, right, we've got no record label, and all of a sudden, the two founder members have gone. So that's left with me, Liam, and Whitey, trying to mix this album. And the Wembley shows were sold out. We didn't have a band, and we're trying to mix this album, and it was one of the, you kind of either thrive off that kind of chaos or you don't. And luckily enough, it was kind of like we sat home and like, what are we going to do? I said, well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to call Gem from Every Stereo. That's the first thing I'm going to do, because we need to do these gigs, man. And out of that chaos came Andy and Gem, which leads us to where we are. Leads us to where we are now. We're all writing, and it's
second chapter of the band, effectively. Those Wembley shows, I was at one of those Wembley shows. In fact, I was at the Wembley show.
The one where...
we lost the plot completely. Came out, sat on the monitor and let the crowd sing the whole song. Fantastic. I think...
it was good for you. It was really...
Oh, you looked like you wanted to throttle him.
Well, the thing is, the night before was great, right? The second night is being beamed out live across Europe to potentially 50 million people. So I get the call that we all go home after the first night, and then I get a call that Liam's been out all night. Like, what's new? Give a shit. So he comes out and he's old. And just before I go on a stage, he'd been out with one of the Spice Girls. That's all I was asked about. I was like, you're going to go out, right, the night before you play Wembley Stadium with Bobby Gillespie.
Didn't he meet his wife, though? Didn't he meet his wife that night before?
Yeah.
He did, right.
But it's like, go out with Bobby Gillespie. Go out with Mel F or whatever her name is. Sporty Spice, for sake, man. And then he goes on stage and it's like he's all over the shop.
Oh, mate, that was just hilarious. But from my point of view, I mean, he came on, he spat something about being left with the tea bag, and then sat down and pretty much sulked the whole show.
Yeah, he was
at one point, I swear to God, you walked behind with your guitar, and I swear you lifted it at one point to bring it down.
But wasn't he listing the terms of his divorce settlement?
Yeah.
The tea bag.
No, the tea bag. It's in the first 5 minutes as well.
Yeah, and it's just like, I've heard the tapes for that show are hilarious. Just isn't a song Wibblings.
We've talked about how important your brother is to the grand scheme, and just what an amazing frontman he is. A great vocalist, got a great fire in his belly when it comes to music, and also what a great songwriter he's turning into as well. One by one.
About time he got his finger out though on that score, I've got to say.
What, on the next one?
No, to get his finger out writing songs.
Right. What, he needs to be more consistent and do it all the time as opposed to just rest on his laurels, is what you're saying?
No, well, if you don't all of a sudden be a songwriter. It's in you from the start.
But he's clearly got a gift at it, which is probably the most annoying thing, because he can just spit it out like that.
Too busy snorting washing up liquid, wasn't he, while I was by the candlelight, you know, writing the tunes.
Being of good conscientious.
And now all of a sudden he's wrote one great song, and now I'm a great songwriter.
Oh yeah, well, what do we expect? But yeah, obviously throughout the years, you know, there's been some ups and some downs with you guys, and very, very well documented ups and downs. And are you as surprised as anybody that you still maintain a creative relationship? You'll always be brothers, but you're still able to be in the same rehearsal studio and recording studio?
Well, as long as we're not in each other's pockets day in, day out, year after year, you know. But it would be, I guess, to me, I find it fascinating that people find it fascinating. If I didn't write any words and Liam didn't write any music and we had to literally create songs together, I would find that fascinating. I kind of like Mick and Keith, I guess. But it's like I write my own songs, he writes his, and we come together and somebody keeps referee when we're in the studio.
It's a classic dynamic between somebody who seems to be conscientious and focused on one thing and somebody who seems to carry a certain amount of the fire. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I liken it to, if, you know, you see those guys who are in, you know, they drive those Jeeps around the desert, the Dakar Rally or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Liam's driving the car, right, and I'm holding the map.
Right.
And I'm always saying to him, slow the down, I can't read the map. And he's like, map, schmap, we'll get there in the end. Do you know what I mean? He's always on the verge of crashing the car. Yeah. But I kind of take us down the back roads, you know, we get there in the end.
Has he changed at all?
No, he's still an idiot.
We can't get him, man. We try, we call, we leave messages, you know.
He doesn't. He won't go on television for fear.
He'll do Cat Dealey though, won't he?
Hell's Kitchen though, won't he?
He will do Hell's Kitchen. You know what I mean? Seriously, I think he takes pride in the fact that he does some of the most odd and bizarre television things.
He says to me one night about doing something or other. Yeah, going on chat shows, and I'm like, I got two words for you. Hell's Kitchen. You're flipping your souffle up, you know what I mean? What was all that about? I was supporting me missus.
Is that what it was?
I was like, buy a record.
You know, the brother's not the only one who gets between the eyes, mate, and the list begins with Robbie Williams, Blur, King, Kaiser Chiefs, Block Party. Of course I'm going to do this. Sum 41, Backstreet Boys, White Stripes, Kylie, Britney, Eminem, George Harrison, George Michael, and most famously Phil Collins.
Not George Harrison, that's Liam's.
That's Liam's thing. And most famously Phil Collins, who has an entire paragraph dedicated in your online Wikipedia to various pot shots that have been made at the former lead singer of Genesis.
It was some flippant comment about him being the Antichrist that he got.
just off the cuff.
That he got the arse with. You know, these old fellas, eh? They'll take offence to anything.
They get more sensitive, don't they, as they get older? You've had some fun, man. You've had some fun. And it's pop music, isn't it? It's right. It's culture. It's pop culture.
Well, right. The thing is you say these things, and I'll admit, right, they look bad in print, right? But a lot of it, I probably gave a very balanced view about Phil Collins that day. But I admit that the thing that looks bad/good in print is the bit about the Antichrist. Fine, fair enough. But, you know, people are allowed to say things about me. Yeah. But you see, Phil Collins knows he can't say anything about me because I'm the
But this is the thing, though.
So that's the thing that does his head in, and the fact that he's bald. And he's left the country because the Labour Party got into power. They're a toe rag.
Would you remember the time that I interviewed you?
If that's not a reason to vote Labour at the next election, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, but who are you going to vote for? Jesus, they're all as bad as each other, man, seriously.
No, totally.
Tell me I'm wrong. Who do you like? Kasabian you like?
I love Kasabian, I love the Kings of Leon.
Yeah.
Primal Scream.
Yeah.
The Zootons, the Coral. In fact, I was up in the studio with the Coral last night. They're up at my place doing a new album.
Nice. In your studio?
Brilliant. Yeah.
Good.
My old mate Weller.
Yeah. Shaq.
The guy's a genius.
Yeah.
The Monkeys, brilliant. There's a lot. I'm not into this indie disco thing that's going on at the minute. I think Franz Ferdinand nailed that a few years back, and every time I watch, you know, the like stuff on the telly, it's all this, you know, it's all a bit samey for me. But I guess it's only like Britpop was in the days, you know what I mean? Everybody kind of
everything goes in cycles, do you know what I mean? There seems to be a new sort of culture of bands coming from the United Kingdom, which I think are talking specifically about